Yeah.
They're just out there, so I told them to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Those guys?
No, they're in a car right behind Tina over on the other side. I don't know, I just get leery.
She's not ready. Okay, call this regular session to order, Wednesday, September 4th. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll open it up for visitor comments. No. Okay. Okay, well, this is going to be a very fast meeting then, looking at the agenda. Resolution number 1863, a resolution establishing drop box rates and superseding resolution 1828.
Move we approve resolution 1863 as read.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 1863. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, award bid contract. A, painting contract for the wastewater treatment plant to Carolyn Jenkins Painting in the amount of $14,000.
Move we award bid contract to Carolyn Jenkins Painting.
Second.
Okay, motion.
Question.
Question? Go ahead.
So can you reflect on on that bill and tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So several weeks ago, the wastewater treatment plant staff noticed some areas of what appeared to be rust on their metal roofing, and so they had the utility craftsman, Roger, go and take a look at it. They just thought, hey, just let's fix this one little area. Upon further examination, Roger looked at the entire roof and also the structure on the chlorine dosing building and realized that they were in extremely bad condition, and he felt that they would be in jeopardy if they were left to go over the winter months without some sort of repairs, a recoating of the entire roof. So he called 3 contractors, only 2 came to give bids. And so this was the low bid for that. And this is in coating, or will be coating the entire roof structure of on both facilities.
And just for the record, Roger is part of our.
Rogers from Public Works, our utility craftsman.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to award painting our roofs on the treatment facility to Carolyn Jenkins for $14,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approve and authorize for signature. A, Managing Oregon Resource Efficiency, otherwise known as MORE, intergovernment agreement with Oregon public entities for exchange of resource and services. And C, second, amended and restated intergovernment agreement with Columbia County for Homeland Security and Emergency Management Services. And D, contract payments.
Move we approve and authorize for signature 6A through B.
Nope.
And no B.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve and authorize for signature 6A, C, and D. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, consent agenda for approval. A, work session, executive session, and regular session council minutes dated August 7th, 2019. B, community development administrative assistant job description. And C, accounts payable bill list.
Move we approve consent agenda for approval, items A, B, and C.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve consent agenda 7A, B, and C. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, not a lot to report on other than that, today was able to meet with Representative Bonamucci. And we're able to go down to the waterfront and look things over there and show her our build grant application, and she was very excited about what she's seen. She sees the opportunities that we all see down there. She looked over at Sand Island and was very complimentary of that. It's good to hear the economic status of our downtown area. All the buildings are full, and businesses are thriving down here. Look forward to getting the intersection done. So you have Kittleson on our drawing up our intersection as we speak, right?
Well, they're not drawing it up. They're working on, on Monday morning, I sent back Tuesday morning. Oh, it would have been Friday. I'm sorry. The weekend has me all messed up. Friday, I sent back the draft scope of work because it didn't quite describe what we
Wanted.
Yeah, everything. We wanted all of the elements included in the design work. So I had hoped to have that on the agenda at the meeting today, but it wasn't quite ready. So I think by the next meeting we'll have that all worked out, and then they're ready to hit the road running. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
And we are currently moving forward with the sidewalks on North Vernonia.
Oh yes,
yes.
That's.
And to reiterate, because Shauna Stroop, I noticed in a post, and I didn't want to correct on a post, but the sidewalks are coming in front of the trees, not behind the trees.
Well, in some locations that
Yes.
would be correct.
Yes.
Yes, we went
But
out.
that was the flip flop,
Mm-hmm.
and she misunderstood it as being that all the sidewalks would be behind the trees, and that was not the argument. The argument was to.
Yes, so we actually went out with the designer and with our arborist, with
Mhm.
Paul from the Parks Department, and spent about 2.5 hours or so, and we walked and talked to people along the way, some of the residents and the property owners, and they were like, yeah, take this tree down. It's a hazard, it's causing issues. And there were about 3 trees that were in very poor condition, and Paul recommended that they come out anyway. But we looked at the areas where we would be able to meander the sidewalk either away from the curb or towards the curb to go around trees in certain locations. Unfortunately, there's still several that are going to have to come out, but not nearly as many as if we just blanketly put the sidewalk in the location as described by the cross-section in
Sure,
the
because some of the
transportation
people
plan.
were concerned about the ones that are blocking line of sight, and those ones are going to definitely be gone because of the sidewalk.
Yes,
in
there
place.
would be that, and there was a few residents who had their trees close to their property line, and they expressed a desire to maintain those trees there because it gave them that privacy and that separation from the roadway. So those are definitely trees that we will attempt to
And I
save.
know there's the setback on Gable Road a little bit. It's behind schedule just a little bit. Is that correct?
It is just a little bit, yes, behind schedule because surprise, they have
Rock.
rock. But they're doing everything they can to maintain the schedule, and they were able to get the front of the school open right as school opened. So. So that was good. They're doing a good job and making good progress out
And that's
there.
a collaborated effort between the city and the county.
City and the county's the lead agency, so they're dealing with all the day-to-day hassles. We still participate. We have weekly construction progress meetings, and they still, if there's a particular issue, we still get to express any input, desires,
Sure.
requirements or whatever that the city would have if there was any potential changes or especially anything that would affect the cost.
Yep.
Yeah, because we still get to participate in that part of it. But thankfully, it's a very minor cost comparatively to the full, we have, the grant amount is well over $2 million. So this is a huge benefit to not just the city, but the whole community.
Sure. Yep. Okay. And then we just want to give a little heads up. We had a report from our planner, and there's a lot of things happening throughout the city. Business is continuing to come our way, and of course, residential building is at a boom. I mean, a huge boom. So that's all good. And welcome back to school, kids. If you're listening, you're probably not. I know that Jackson's here, and he's, yes, probably excited to be back at school to some extent. And I know the parents are definitely happy about it. And and one last announcement is if you are a fisherman, tomorrow is the last day that you can fish for Chinook. The ODFW. The ODFW that's not a clapping thing. Just announced today that it will be closed tomorrow at midnight. So get out and catch a Chinook tomorrow
For all fall?
for the rest of the fall until the numbers get over the dam or whatever. So.
I get it.
Yep. Okay. So that's all I have to report on. So let's go with Councilor President, who I apologize for skipping over you earlier. Doug?
Oh, well, I didn't have anything to report anyway. No, I did. But one of the things that's very encouraging about Sue's testimony on the sidewalks is that, just to reiterate a bit, that on Vernonia Road, we'll have sidewalks on both sides of the road.
Yes.
Wonderful, safe passage for kids and
Yes.
residents
Yes.
on both sides.
Yes.
That's really a shot in the arm, and
Yes.
I'm so glad that we're going ahead on that.
Yes, definitely. And then the other amenity that we plan to put in with this is a mid-block crossing. So a crossing not at one of those 90-degree corners, because those are very difficult for pedestrians to cross, but a mid-block crossing that will go into the park. And we'll have a flashing beacon light, very similar to what is going to be installed at the high school.
Perfect.
And also on Columbia Boulevard when we start working on the grant project. Probably be in construction in 2021, I'm going to guess. The sidewalk on Columbia Boulevard between Sykes and Gable.
Okay.
And Willamette, well, you just said that, we are on sidewalks in a sense, but Gable Road is
Yes.
very exciting.
Yes.
You know that my first year coming on here, I just kept stirring the pot about Gable Road and safe passages.
Yes.
And finally it's hitting.
Yes.
And,
Since you've been here, I know we've applied for at least one grant. We have. I don't know how many the county has applied for. And long before you were here, that was one of the very, very first things that I did was apply for a grant for that project. So we still had a lot of the background and paperwork from that application to help the county add a little fuel to the fire when they turned in the application. Well, we both turned in the application.
that's going to be huge for our city and for our school district and our kids as
100%
as well.
Yes. Yep.
What I was really excited about is that we have been working very hard on defining in a Parks Commission what Friends of Parks is all about. What does that mean? So we've come up with this document, Friends of Parks. It's beautiful, well done. The commissioners all weighed in on it, and they were encouraged to ask their friends in the community what they thought of what a Friends of Parks is all about, and trails. And so collaboratively gathered all of that, submitted it to the staff, and the staff came up with this. Great work with the staff. And on the back side, explanations about how you can become friends and what that's all about, including just a lot of good stuff. So I really want to thank everyone who was involved in this, and I think our next session we will be handing these things out to everyone. I'll be looking at getting this out to the Parks Commissioners so that they can see the good work that's been done. Really, really, really impressive. Anyway, so just have one copy. It's a working copy, and everything's still in the works, and so that's soon to come out. went over to Sand Island over the holiday and asked a few campers how they were doing, how they felt. I couldn't find anything negative other than well, it'd be really nice to have some water here. And so Brad, I think, feels that is on the way, possible with solar and a well and possibly wind energy as well. So it's all on its way. And the price of getting to the island, $0. So there's no charge for that. And it looks like it's going to stay that way. So, yeah, good news all around for our citizens who want to get over to Sand Island and do some camping. I'd encourage a lot of people, but they can't fish, so they might as well camp, huh? Exactly. Okay, so that's it for me.
You know, I'm just curious on this shuttle. I'm wondering. I'm guessing that it'll probably be seasonal, like maybe in a month or month and a half, it'll probably shut off. I would guess for.
You know, when I asked Brad and Dave, the caretaker over there, Dave looks at me and he says, "There's a lot of good weather to be had here.
Oh, yeah.
In the future." So, I kind of think it's one of those things that. Remember, Keith, when we were talking about when we're going to turn on the fountain out there, and we had some discussions about that. So I think it's probably they're going to play it by ear, and when the weather starts to turn, I think they'll
Call it.
call it and do their upgrades. And the upgrades I think that they have for that place, it just continues. 60-some camping spots. They all have fire pits and tables. Really very interesting.
I'm going to add a little bit. I had a conversation with Brad, and he said the thing that's been most encouraging for him so far is a number of people have come back multiple times, and it's all by word of mouth. It isn't like one time, that's it. And we were talking about cutting down trees. He says one of the things they found, a lot of the good-looking trees when they cut down were hollow on the inside. So while that's been a problem of perception, you got to take care of the trees, and a lot of them there are not real good.
Those cottonwood are very vulnerable when they get old.
We don't want any of those to fall on any of our campers, without a doubt. We'd rather have them burn them for firewood.
Councilor Topaz, you want to report?
That was about it. That the conversations I've had with the island have been spectacular. Other than that, nope.
Councilor Carlson.
Just one thing I missed earlier, this Friday is the season opener for the high school football,
Yes, it is.
and the band will be there, and it's white out, in case you don't know what
White
white
out?
out means. It means wear all your white stuff. It's like team spirit kind of thing. But I'm a little old, been a few years since I was in school, but that feeling of sitting in the grandstand with the kids is just something that you can't bottle that. That's good stuff, so.
Yep.
Oh, okay, Thursday for JV and Friday for varsity.
Yep.
So it's just great to see that there's literally not a seat left in the stands. Makes the kids feel good, and definitely makes my heart feel good that people are turning out for the young people. This is a real good way to show that they matter. That's all I got.
Okay. Councilor Locke.
Just have one thing, and Sue, no reflection on you, but I'd like to make this job a permanent job. I think we need to, I'd like to make a motion to move to direct staff to put out the job bid for Public Works Director. And Sue, I hope you're bid for it and go through the interview process. That's something we do for all of our departments. I think it's something we need to do just for the public. So anyway, that was a motion. Get a second?
Can I have a comment?
Sure.
I mean, I know that it's always a sensitive subject, but we went out for a position. It's fitting that Joe's sitting here. We went out for a police chief, and everybody applied, and we have a due process. When our tourism director's contract came up, we went out, everybody applied, we had due process. So I think that it's just part of the process. It's not anything meant to be personal. It's meant to have a public process. I want whoever's going to do the job, I want it to be permanent, not be temporary and interim. I want it to be an official job that's supposed to go. And the way it was told to me, it was interim, so I didn't know if it's permanent. I don't remember hearing that. If I missed that meeting, I'm sorry. She turned on her microphone.
You wanna-
Pushed her button, so I didn't know if she had a.
You want to reflect on our conversation that we had with Sue and with Neil on his exit, and what we decided to do with our, with that position?
Go ahead.
Well, what we decided was that that Sue would take over as Public Works Director, and we would come to a consensus in 6 months or thereabout of what we would do. So, Keith, I don't know if the 6 months is up by now. I don't think it is.
4 months.
It's been 4 months. So that was the pretty much the verbal agreement and the agreement that we had in that room that day. And so 6 months is not quite up. So that's when we agree verbally to do something. And I thought we reported on that as an interim to the council. So that's where I'm at, because it hasn't nurtured yet to the 6 month thing that we agreement that we had with Sue. We didn't put it in writing, I don't
Yeah.
think.
No, we didn't. No, and on our behalf, I feel like we failed Sue a little bit, that we need to maybe be reaching out a little bit more and talking to staff, and also giving her, she's got some projects, and we need to give her the ability to follow through and evaluate, and hasn't been enough time, in my opinion. And I've stated that before. I'm not holding a secret, you know.
Well, if you guys have a verbal 6 month, then I'll pull my motion and wait 2 months then.
We can, yeah, I think we wait till the first of the year or the end of the year in there at some time, and I think that would be appropriate. And Sue, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was the conversation that we had. We didn't want you to be a co-director. We didn't want to sit, and we wanted you to do it. We made up our mind that we would not advertise for a public works director at that time. So, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's my recollection.
Okay.
Do we have an official description of what the job is?
We do.
Yeah, the last time we went out for an RFP, it seemed like it took months to get the RFP done. And granted, Neil you have been in the job for as long as I've been around, so I've not seen your job get interviewed for, but I knew that it takes considerable time to get all of that paperwork done, and I just thought my thought process is not to rush it, but also to be prepared for the process. And it's like, just to have transparency as opposed to somebody leaves and somebody magically appears there. We need to have open dialogue, open process. And I knew that you had talked about projects and goals and a 6 month period, but we're 4 months into it and I haven't seen a project list and I haven't seen goals. And there's 2 months left, so it's like, how do I say, Sue, you're awesome, if I don't know what I'm relating it to?
Well, the project lists are in her reports, in the Public Works report that's posted. So
I guess I misunderstood it to be specific things we were supposed to be, a specific projects, not just the whole list of things that Public Works does. My misunderstanding.
No, I think that was kind of the general census at the time, was to pick some projects, and I don't think we have
Well-
picked projects as a council, really. It hasn't been.
Well, been on this council for 18 and a half years, and all of our directors has always been a council decision.
Yeah, and that's not what we're discussing here. I think the discussion is that we move Sue into an interim, and that we talked about giving her some projects so we could evaluate
You guys
if
did.
there was a need.
Right, you guys did.
Well, I think the whole
Council did.
council, yeah, I think the whole council's been discussing that to some extent, haven't we?
It was reported after we went through the, your role as, over public work, or public works like liaison and the
Yep.
administrative arm, discussed that, brought it to the council, and talked about that as that being the plan, so.
Mhm.
I
Well,
think that's appropriate.
yeah, and I know I haven't kept it secret. I mean, I've talked about, so do we, as a council? So here's what I think, and I'm not gonna come in on the report, I just wanted, I think we also need to have a retreat on council, disciplinary action. And I think we need to talk about goals and projects that we want done. But we also need to understand, we need to have the funding mechanism to make these realities happen. So I think that we all need to sit down and make sure that we have done our due diligence with Matt and then Sue to make sure the funding's there and the projects, and then pick projects. I mean, if we really want to get something done, that's how we're gonna have to do it. We,
Don't disagree with that.
yeah.
Have we not selected projects
We have.
through the budget process, for one?
Yes,
Identified needs and projects, and then prioritize those, and are enacting
yep.
a great deal of those right now?
The problem with that is other people who, quote, feel they're qualified haven't had a chance to perform to show how good they are. And that comes back to the openness, and that's where I think we need the public description of what the job position is. We may have it here. I have not seen
Yeah,
it
we have-
written down.
Every position has a job description.
I know,
yeah,
but
except for the council.
at this point, when we're going to put somebody in that permanent position, I think it has to be brought up publicly.
I mean, Stephen, I've not been, I can speak at least for Stephen, I have not been through placing a public works director.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been working on it though as admin. The first 2 weeks I was elected is when we made Chief Moss. And it's like, you need to know what the job is before you can evaluate it. And because I don't supervise public works, I've not studied that job description. I've not ever seen it. It probably is in a packet of stuff somewhere, but I've not had time to look at it. And maybe that's something to distribute. If we're going to evaluate this job, we should all be looking at the same paper.
The other thing is the public works of 10 years ago is it the public works of now. All right, and I mean, it may be that we've got the same title, but the particular things that have to be done are different. I mean, so in that way, we need an up-to-date description, basically to formalize it.
Yes.
I think that's a good place to start.
Just for a recap, for anybody who is watching and wondering, that our head of engineering, Sue Nelson, and our head of public works, head of public works, Neil Shepard, shared the job title of Public Works Director, which was created during the crunch of the economy. It was one way of the city saving money. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So this is not, it seems kind of awkward right now, but this is not, Sue is still our lead engineer for
Right.
the city of St. Helens, and always will be if she chooses to. That, unless she does something detrimentally wrong. Let's put that out there right away.
Yeah, it's no reflection.
Or
It's just
chooses to
about
leave.
process.
Or chooses to leave, yes.
It's about process.
Yes, I just want to make sure that that's clear, because I know this is kind of, so let's revisit that in a retreat. Lisa, if you could, what do you guys think would be a great date to go over council disciplinary actions? Because I think that needs to be discussed. I seriously do. And we
Can
might
we
as well.
look at dates late in September, or do we have to talk about first part October?
I think in October, just kind of let the summer wrap up and give us all a chance.
Maybe,
And
staff-
probably evening.
yeah, maybe staff can come up with some dates, because they have the calendar of all the other meetings. and give them some ideas.
Or we could have it at the Soil Water Conservation.
Yeah, but just choices so we don't overcommit the staff supporting us. Because there'll be a staff there, no doubt.
Well, John, anyway.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
John.
Just
It
John?
depends on which
Yeah.
you want to facilitate it. Do you want, what do you?
Kind of, maybe we do a midday. Can you sneak, do you think you can get off at 4?
4 is easy.
Yeah? Okay.
3:30.
We do like a 3:30 to maybe 6?
Yeah, 3:30 is cake.
Yeah? Okay. So can you pick a date and this maybe shoot us an email or dates that will be available?
Okay.
Now,
We
what-
have, like 3 dates and a choice.
What days are good for you?
Not Mondays.
Not Mondays.
Not Fridays.
Usually off Wednesdays are pretty good, but off meeting Wednesdays.
So like the second Wednesday in October?
Yeah, what is the second Wednesday on the 9th there? What is that? You got something scheduled?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that'd be the 9th, October 9th? $3:30? Do a dinner, just work right through it, trudge through it?
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt your report. You got other things to
That's
report? Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go to department reports. Lieutenant Ho.
Nothing to report. All is good.
Okay. Sue?
Just that this afternoon we got a notice that a nursery on Sabi Island had donated they had some excess native plants and they donated those to the Nob Hill Nature Park, Friends of Nob Hill Nature Park. And
Nice.
so they'll be planting those probably this coming weekend.
Are we gonna be required to water those?
No.
Okay.
No. No, they've identified an area that they want to replant and so,
They're gonna take care of the watering, making sure they live.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's it. Thank you.
Matt, nothing? Lisa?
In case anybody says anything, there's something wrong with our video. I noticed it when I was watching Granicus during the work session. It was black, and it is here too. So if you guys hear any feedback afterwards, I think it'll still rebroadcast, but people will only be able to hear. They won't see anything.
Okay.
So hopefully that gets fixed whenever the AV people come back out. Yeah, next week.
Okay. All right. John?
The headline being council working in the dark or something. On TV.
It's nothing new.
Just to build on the Sand Island campground, I did talk with Brad Hendrickson at the marina, and he's happy to do a report and come to council on one of the next meetings and kind of debrief on what went good, what went bad, and what could be better. One of the concerns going into this was from the boating community that kind of claimed it as their island, the yacht clubs and stuff that schedule cruises and visit. And so we did because of the last time, they didn't have the caretaker and the level of care on the island and cleaning it up. And they were pretty concerned about this. And we've done some outreach to those communities. The people that have been here have had a lot of feedback, and it's been all positive. I mean, they see the island, it's clean. They're giving it grades when on the restroom cleanliness and things like that. But that perception is completely turned around, and the city is actually doing a really good job with this. I'd like to share that.
Great.
Also on Congresswoman Bonamici's visit this morning, she kind of really stitched it all together real nicely about all the elements of a thriving community, and it's kind of, you have the new school and you have this community investment. So there's, there are people in the communities, a lot of really good things are happening in St. Helens was kind of her theme, the diversity of the housing. We have a housing boom, but not just, it's a diversity of types. We have from rental houses to shared, it's not all one type of housing. So she thought that was pretty great. And just generally applauding the city's efforts on community development, economic development, and the initiatives we're pushing forward, and the recreation program, and it's what it really means to the community. So it was a very nice visit. So
I got to take back.
It was, and Councilor Morton's got to take back.
Had an issue. I went over to the parks people ask them how things were going and whatever the individuals over there. And they had one concern, and I don't know if any of the staff has heard this or not, but there's a person who came forward to plant flowers in the tree wells. And what's happening is apparently they're soaking up all the water, or the water that has been kind of addressed to the trees, and some of the trees aren't doing so well now. So the flowers killing the trees. But my concern was, that's really unique that we have volunteers in our city to come forward and do that. They go, oh no, not a volunteer. They charge businesses to do that. So they're charging.
That's not okay.
That's not okay at all.
No.
Is that what you're hearing?
No, I haven't heard anything.
That's not okay, because that's our soil that we planted there that's easier to dig in to plant.
So-
And you're also could possibly be transmitting disease into those tree roots
So
through
I'm-
those plants.
I'm here to say that it's hearsay at this point from what I heard. I didn't, I didn't get officially, but there
I
was.
know I know this because it was reported to me that there is a couple that is taking care of flower pots in front of places. Flower pots. I hadn't heard that they were doing tree planters.
They're the tree planters, the flowers that are in there, and then the guys who come, the parks people who come by and water, are feeling that the trees, they don't know if the flowers are getting all the water or whatever. They don't know. In other words, they're not in control of it. So they've kind of lost control, and so they whispered in my ear. They didn't whisper. They were pretty vocal about it. So
I think we probably can find out who's doing it, because there's 3 or 4 places along Main Street that has planters that have flowers in them, and they have hired them to do those planters. And I bet you they have the contact information.
get it.
Would tell us
Okay.
who it is and what the deal is. So I believe the movie theater and the title company on Columbia Boulevard are their customers. So if we contacted them and say, who's taking care of your pots, that would let us know who might be doing stuff with.
But are those the containers that the trees are in?
No, they're
just
other
individual
pots
ones.
that
Okay.
businesses have put there.
Got it.
I've seen them in the tree planters, but if you wanted to know if somebody was doing that and charging to put things in the tree
Yeah, I
planter.
think we got to just get on top of it
Right.
and get a policy and get it out there. So kind of nip it in the bud, so to speak, and we'll go forward. Hopefully.
Probably the chances of that transmitting disease is 0 to slim, by the way. I do know that much, but it's still possible. Just a little story was, and I got kind of a go back, but on Sand Island, and I know we've all kind of hit on it, but a guy named Mark Johnson came walking up this weekend. He had a little picnic basket. I said, "Oh, you've been picnicking, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he's a little bit older than I am, so for 50 years he's lived here. It's the first time he's been to Sand Island, and he took the free shuttle and enjoyed every minute of it. I go, "It's a pretty different world over there, isn't it?" He was all smiles and absolutely loved it.
He was one I talked to.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of the many.
so
Awesome.
it's a good thing. All right. Anybody else need to go back that they forgot something? No? Okay. Thank you guys for attending. Adjourn.
Did you talk to the man in the back in the plaid shirt?
I haven't.
I think you should before you leave.
Yeah?
I didn't.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that you meet the mayor.
Yes.
Adam Kurtz,
Adam?
Fusion CBD, Oregon Fusion Farms.
Oh, okay. I just talked to Tori about you.
This is the
Yes.
house that we're talking
So I wish